Women's wear designer Benz is widely considered to be the prince of color, known for both his violent pink hair and the kaleidoscope of his collections. I sit down with the young designer to discuss where he's been and where he's headed. So why don't we start at the obvious place, from the beginning? When did you first know you wanted to be a designer?
I think at some point in high school, I kind of got interested in fashion and started reading magazines and everything. And then I sort of figured out that I could design clothes, which I really loved, and kind of channel my creativity into that. So I was like, that's it, I'm doing it, and I'm just going to move to New York and go to Parsons and sort of hit the pavement.
Speaking of Parsons, you were in a pretty famous class.
A lot of people think it's so funny because we all lived in the dorms together too. Like as freshmen, it was like Alex Wang and Preble and the guys from Princess Schuler. Yeah. And so that was fun. It's fun to kind of, have that familiarity.
What do you think really defines the evolution of the aesthetic since Parsons?
I've always been pretty true to my instincts in terms of what I like and kind of where we're taking the women that we dress. And it's always that very eccentric American sportswear kind of thing, whether it's through color or print or pattern or proportion. There's always like a little bit of like a skewed humor to everything, which I like. And I think where it's at for us and for me as a designer is really bringing the sort of tongue-in-cheek fun to fashion, because I think a lot of the time people are afraid of fashion in a lot of ways. And I think the more that we can get people to play and experiment and kind of add a little bit of lightness to their wardrobe, is sort of a great thing.
Well, that is one of the things that I've always found really interesting about your collections, is that as complete looks, they are explosive. And it's this kind of like riot of color and pattern, and it's beautiful and it's impactful, but as singular pieces, they're really wearable.
I always wanted to not sort of reinvent the wheel as a designer. I feel like a jacket should have 2 sleeves and pants should fit and all of those things, and I think
that's a pretty novel concept.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot easier to make things that are, not so easy to understand and don't fit.
Well, it's easier to make an impact that way.
Right. But for me, I also, something that I was really passionate about was always having everything that we showed in the show also be available for sale and not just necessarily for editorial. For me, I always wanted to be accessible in that way. So it's actually how we judge a lot of the kind of validity of what we make. If you can wear it back to, jeans and a t-shirt, then it's a good piece.
Well, I think it'd be negligent sitting with a designer whose hair is electric pink to not talk about the fact that a boy from Seattle, land of the Greige, has become Prince of Color.
For anyone who's been to Seattle and understands how gray it is all the time, I think that people that live there do have such a kind of specific relationship with color, and there's a lot of emotion tied to...
Color is ephemeral in Seattle.
Exactly. And when there is a really sunny day, there's no more beautiful place in the world, but it's like the bluest sky, the bluest water, the greenest trees, and there's something really, I think, subconscious about that and my relationship with color. But actually with pink hair, you can't wear like anything interesting because it tips the scales too far.